Hello, my football friends. This is Darin Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history, and welcome to another edition where we get to talk to our friend Timothy P. Brown of FootballArchaeology.com. Tim, welcome back to the Pig Pen.
Hey, Darren. Good to chat, and I think we've got a couple of things to talk about this evening.
I think we do. You have a very interesting series that you have that comes up every now and again in your tidbits, and you call it the Factoid Feast. And that really is an interesting concept. Maybe you could explain a little bit about what your Factoid Feasts are before we get into some of the stories.
When I'm researching whatever the topic of the day is, oftentimes I stumble across some other article, or whether it's the adjoining article or within the article that I'm reading, something comes up that's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And so, I have a way of saving all that kind of information. It's just little things that I store, some of which then later on turn into a tidbit or an article. But others are just like, yeah, it's just this one little thing, that it's worth letting people know that this happened, but
Hmm.
it doesn't, it doesn't warrant a full story. So I just kind of combined three of those into these factoid feasts. It's just dinky little things that came up. I thought they were kind of interesting, and so I thought I'd share them.
Your third story in your factoid. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, this one's a little bit of an oddball. I mean, I think it's a better story if you have the visual in front of you. Um, but just somewhere along the way, I collect postcards, that show some kind of football, imagery. And so I came across one, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago that was from Keesler Field. I believe that's in Alabama. It could be Louisiana, but anyways. Um, so it was an Army Air Force field during World War II that basically created just before World War II, and then it's still in existence. It's probably named something a little bit different, but um, so classic World War II training camp, and like all those, they ended up with football teams, made up of the guys that were stationed at the base at the time. So they're like PR, is more not like their external PR. This is more like a thing that their internal guys on base who were, like they had publicists and they had press releases, all that kind of, just like, a college team would have nowadays. Um, so one of those guys created a postcard that it shows a couple of players. It's kind of like it's kind of the nature of the times. They used to cut out images of players. They didn't have
Yeah.
Photoshop,
Folks, again, you got to hit the link when you have an opportunity to because it's an awesome picture. It really is.
Yeah. And so it kind of shows these guys. So there's photographic elements to it there, and then there's like a single wing play diagram kind of superimposed atop these photographs, and then I think there's some verbiage on there too, right?
Yes.
So anyways, it's just kind of interesting, so I got the thing, and then I started, once it arrived at my house, and okay, I'm going to try to figure out kind of what's going on here. So it was just, part of it's just interesting that, like, whoever was the graphic artist probably didn't know a lot of football because, you know, there's, um, there's only seven guys on, it's got like a play diagram, but there's only seven guys on defense, right? And then it's a single wing play. I think it's like a sweep to the right, but the right end and the right tackle, it everybody else, it shows what they're doing, the right end and the right tackle. So the play side guys, there's no like arrows coming off of them. They've got no assignment, right? So it's just one of those things, like, from a football standpoint, you look at that and go like, what the hell? This is a key block here.
Right. Yeah.
Seal that in. And
The slot back on that side too. He's just standing there too. So
uh,
he's yes. But you have the whole rest of the backfield and the whole interior line all going out in front of the guy that's receiving the snap, which I'm assuming is a quarterback, but in single wing, you never know who's
yeah,
back there. But the guys on the right or the left side, like the end and the tackle, first when I saw it, I'm thinking, man, they're running like pass patterns out, even the tackle. So that's kind of interesting. But I think it's a blocking assignment or
Yeah.
going to
Yeah. They're
take
just,
the secondary out, ahead of the
yeah, that,
sweep.
I mean, even when I was involved, we have like the offside tackle, try to race out there. And they never
Yeah,
did anything, but you draw it up that way.
right.
Uh, but the other thing that was kind of funny is that so there's images of one of the images shows this guy making a tackle or approaching a runner to make a tackle. And what's distinctive about him is he's kind of crouching down and he has two pieces of tape around his thigh pads on each thigh pad that just, he's just trying to hold his thigh pads in place. And so, okay, so as I was trying to find other images from that period, I came across like a historical report written in like 1986 or something. Um, and the only image they had of football showed this guy crouching in virtually the same manner with two tape stripes around his thigh pads, you know, and it names this guy as like Lieutenant Earl Graves or something like that. And so it's just like this has to be the guy, right? So it's just kind of the chances of finding an image with this same guy wearing the same tape around his pants, around his thighs. Oh, I mean, the chances of that are just pretty slim
But
because there's like no images out there from the
he
Keystone.
must have started a trend way back when, because if you go to any little kids game, I'm talking pre-high school game where the kids don't quite fit the equipment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
The equipment they get is like hand-me-downs from like the freshman program at the local high school, and these kids are like in sixth grade and they're skin and bones. There's duct tape around every single pair of pants, I think, and they actually wear their pads in their pants because they have to. And yeah, their mom and dad are putting duct tape around them to keep their
yeah.
thigh
Well,
pads in place. Yeah.
back in the day when pants, back then the pants, like those guys probably were still wearing pants that still had a lot of cotton content. So, much less elasticity. And so, the
And
stuff
not a
off of
very
it,
pleasant laundry day for whoever's doing the
yeah,
wash either, I'm sure.
it didn't fit very well. So you had to tape, you had to tape your pads on, you know. I did that more than once, but
Yeah.
so anyways, it's just one of those things. It's just kind of,
Yeah.
it's
Excellent.
just an
Excellent.
interesting postcard. It caught my eye when I bought it, and then kind of I was able to find some kind of cool information about it. So
Yeah, most definitely. So very cool on the Factoid Feast. And Tim has this is seven. I think you just had one come out recently in the
yeah,
last a day or two. I believe I saw it too. So they're great. And you've done them. I think they spanned over the last couple of years at least, or maybe longer than that. But just see them every now and again, and great little pieces to exercise your brain and learn something new and be entertained. So we
yeah,
thank you for that. So Tim, you have more than just the factoid feast in your tidbits. You talk just about anything in football history. Maybe you could share with folks how they can enjoy your tidbits.
yeah. Just go out to footballarchaeology.com, subscribe, and if you do that, then you'll get an email every time I release a new story. You'll get an email with the story embedded in that email. Um, you know, so that's the best way to do it. And then alternatively, you can follow me on the threads or on threads on Twitter uh, the um, or the Substack app. Substack app actually has some pretty cool features now. So that's worth taking a look at if you read my stuff and or other Substack you
Yeah,
know threads.
mo- most definitely. They communicate very well, and sometimes you get an email with everybody you follow on Substack, or a lot of times just what Tim's got coming out too. So it's a great device to get information. So, Tim, we really thank you for joining us and sharing this football history with us, and we'll love to talk to you again next week.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.